Hello everybody, welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Hope everybody is doing well. We got some large updates surrounding Manchester United. New goalkeeper, potentially, maybe so. Emiliano Martínez, things heating up. There's been a mention of Diego Costa as well. And there's been a little bit of talk going the other way, not in our favor, with the goalkeeper Milinkovic from Torino. So we're going to get into that. There's also been updates about Viktor Gyokeres. There's been updates about Mbuemo to Manchester United, along with some other actually pretty good and interesting updates. Some stuff about Rasmus Højlund. And there's a story about Paulinho, and I'm wondering if any United fans and chat would like Paulinho in the midfield. I think it's one that we're going to have to take with a little bit of grain of salt from where it's coming from, but it makes for an interesting discussion. So before we get into all that, please make sure you smash the like button because it helps the channel grow and it is greatly important. So make sure you get that done, and we do thank you for that. But also, we're trying to get to 3,500 subscribers. We're at 3,050. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss a live. You stay up to date. You're here from the beginning of the show and you're ready to go. And we also have the Discord. You should get involved in Discord. Discord is the best. We keep all the updates in the Discord. We have the discussions in the Discord when we're not live on the stream, and throughout the day, and other members chat with other members as well. And it's the best place to stay informed about the live shows as well. So if you're not in the Discord, there is the link in the bio to the channel. You click that and you will join the Discord. But other than that, let's just get into the news then. Yeah, let's just get into the news. So I'm going to start off with the Emiliano Martínez stuff because that seems to be kind of popping at the moment. So early in the day, we got a story from Sport Witness saying United have made their first formal contact with Emiliano Martínez's agent over a summer move. United want the Argentinian international as the #1 next season. Martínez prefers to stay in England. And then we also had a following update going into that said, let me just pull it up. Where did it go? So as we were going live, or well, really about an hour ago, Fabrizio Romano chimed in and jumped in on the news for Emiliano Martínez and said that initial contacts have taken place for Emiliano Martínez and the keeper is ready to say yes to Manchester United. That was Fabrizio getting involved. So it seems like United are, I mean, we have been linked with Martínez for a while now. It's been over a month, I would assume. And the story's not really going away. I mean, it really hasn't moved too much since it started. It's moved a little bit now. I mean, just a tiny bit in the fact that we've made formal contact and we seem to be more interested in it. So I think it's one to keep an eye on because I've always said, and there is an update about Onana as well, which actually kind of plays into this. And once I find it, here it is. Fabrizio Romano an hour ago said Manchester United are not desperate to sell Andre Onana. He's still part of the project, but in the case of a good proposal for all parties, he's not untouchable. I've been saying this for few weeks now. I've been saying, I think with Onana, they would like to sell him. I don't think they necessarily want to keep him. I think they can't really figure out how to get a deal, right, for Onana. And if there was a good deal that comes across the table that they would be willing to take, they would move him on and they would go for a new goalkeeper. I've also been saying, and I also believed and think what's going to happen is, you know, if we can't get rid of Onana and we can't move Onana on, I don't know if you spend, because I think Martínez is apparently going to cost around 40 million. And if you buy Martínez has to be the #1. He doesn't really fit into this category that I'm about to explain. But I've been saying, worst comes to worst, if United can't get a good deal for Onana, the very least that they have to do is get rid of Binder and get somebody that's a #2, but really is a number one. Sort of similar to the situation that Arsenal did with Raya and Ramsdale. I think that's probably the best possible solution to go from that point. And kind of bring somebody in that can actually take Onana's spot. And if Onana actually plays bad, which most of us think he probably is going to do so, when he messes up, he can't have no arguments. He's gotten another chance. It'll be his third season. He's messed us up. He's cost us points. He's done whatever. He didn't make a save that he obviously should have. He made a huge blunder, whatever it is. And that's when you bring in the guy that's the number two, and you put him in, and Onana never gets a spot back. And then January, maybe in the next summer, he goes one way or another. I think that's the best possible way to go about that. But there was another update about an hour ago, coming from Uriel Lugt. He's saying that Manchester United advances in the talks for Emiliano Martínez. The goalkeeper is willing to go to United, and formal negotiations with Aston Villa are expected to begin in the next few days. So it's quite interesting because I actually don't know how this is technically proceeding. Because I mean, Fabrizio saying United aren't desperate to sell Onana, which I think they're not desperate because there isn't good enough interest. I actually think Amorim probably, if he gave Amorim full choice, free choice, and he could pick whatever he wants, I think he would pick to replace Andre Onana in the snap of his fingers. But if it's not really a viable option at the current moment, then I think United aren't desperate to sell Onana. But with Fabrizio saying, United are not desperate to sell Onana and he's still part of the project, I really don't buy that. I think he's part of the project because they want to sell him for a certain price. There isn't enough interest and they would like to get rid of him. And that's why the added on part where it says, but in case of a good proposal for all parties, basically, to me, what that translates to is whoever has briefed Fabrizio or given Fabrizio information, that's basically the club saying, we're not going to panic sell him. We do want to sell him, but we also want a good fee. And there isn't much interest, and there hasn't really been. If there is anything, it's not what to our liking. So we'll stick with him for another season. But clearly, they are looking to make a movement in the goalkeeping department because, I mean, this story has been ongoing for weeks and weeks and weeks now. And I think actually Manchester United can't afford to not make a move in the goalkeeping department, whether it is on Onana out and a new direct number one comes in and directly replaces him, or if he stays and you get somebody that can actually take his spot during the middle of the season and you move forward with that. So we'll keep you posted because there might be more updates as we are live about that. Now, another goalkeeper that has been linked with United is Milinkovic. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, who plays for Torino. And Fabrizio came in about 4 hours ago and said Napoli are in negotiations with Torino for Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Talks took place today as Napoli want to anticipate Manchester United and other clubs who are interested. So, I mean, Napoli seem to be much further ahead in that department. Maybe United come in and they do something about that, but he has been one that's been linked with us for a couple weeks now. I never really felt too strongly about him. I don't think I necessarily want him. So I won't be too fussed if he goes. I think there's still probably better options out there that we could get as sort of a second, but really it'll be a sneaky first for when Onana does mess up and he should be out. But yeah. Let me get to the chat, though. The chat, Lyle is here. Lyle Wilson says, hey, Eric and all you Reds. What's up, Lyle? Nubis Kubis is here as well. Says, I agree with the tactic, but not Martinez. He's freaking older than Onana. I mean, just on that point, Nubis, it's not that bad, to be honest. I mean, I believe he's 30. He's about to be 31. Or he's 31. He's about to be 32, right? As a goalkeeper, that's not the worst thing in the world because goalkeepers they could play much longer. I think Emi Martinez at his current age, you could probably get a good 5 years out of him left. So that's not bad at all. You won't probably get any sort of a resale value at that point. And if you do spend 40 million, he's gonna have to repay it, I guess, in performances. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to repay us basically in the performances. It's gonna have to sort of even out in that stance, because I think after the 5 years, I don't think. I mean, he might still play, but you're not gonna get any significant type of money when he's at that age. But goalkeepers play, almost till they're like 40 now. If they're really good, they play longer than that, maybe 42 or something like that. It's not that common to 42, but there are a couple out there. They continue to play. So it's not like a striker. Goalkeepers kind of enter their prime at around this time anyway, around 30, 31. So they could give you a good 5 years out of that. I'm not too fussed about his age. Nubis says the second goalkeeper should be someone like Lucas Chevalier, or Kawa Santos, or any other under 25-year-old goalkeeper. If money is the issue, keep Onana and let Vitek fight for the number 1 spot. I mean, it is a good point, Nubis. I mean, listen, lots of people rate Vitek. I don't know what's with the club. They don't seem to have the same... I don't know if they don't have the same feeling, or they have a different plan that they have for him, and they're not going the route that most fans want, because most fans have been advocating for Vitek, and they want Vitek to... I mean, some people are advocating for Vitek to be number 1 right away and just give him a go. Some people are saying, like you're saying, Nubis, and say, just put him in second and let him fight for the number 1 spot. But the club doesn't seem like it's looking in that direction. So I don't know why. I don't know if they don't think he's as good as maybe the fans are rating him, or maybe that he's not necessarily ready. Maybe they have a certain path or a plan for him that they think is best, and they're not, they're going a different sort of route than what we're thinking, or what many of our fans are thinking. But as far as from the news, I mean, there's been zilch, nothing about Vitek. I mean, there hasn't been one thing to indicate that Vitek is anywhere in contention to possibly get, number 2 or be part of the plans for the next season. And I probably feel like he's probably going to end up going on loan if that's the case. I mean, if he's not even being mentioned. Now, maybe there's a surprise in there. Maybe it's something that's not reported. Maybe that does happen, but it doesn't. I don't feel like it will as of right now. I mean, we could get maybe I mean, it depends how this sort of transfer saga goes. If we do sign somebody, if Bienda does go, but maybe something happens in preseason, and Vitek is part of it, and maybe he gets promoted to that. Soro Ibrahim says he is off to Napoli. Villa not letting Martinez go for less than 30 million, not worth it. Well, I saw it 40 million. So, I saw about 40 million, really. He's about to be 33 in September. Is he about to be 33? I thought he was about to be 32. Oh, he is 32. Yeah. I mean, I like him. So I think he's a good goalkeeper. So I don't really have a problem with him. I would still take him. I mean, I'd take him. I'm gonna be quite honest. If the thing is keeping Onana or signing Emi Martinez for 30 to 40 million, I'm signing Emi Martinez for 30 to 40 million, because I don't want to see Onana in goal. If that's the two choices we got, I'm taking Emi Martinez for 30 to 40 million every day. But I mean, there's always the route that we could go with the second goalkeeper, who's really a first goalkeeper. Because again, like, Arsenal did it with Raya, and Raya was a starting goalkeeper. Like, he was already playing in the Premier League. He was already starting. So to go to Arsenal and be the number 2, he was never really the number 2. He was just there waiting for Ramsdale to basically mess up so Arteta can pull him out and put the goalkeeper he actually wanted in. And now he's their goalkeeper permanently. Ramsdale is gone, and did much better with Ryan. And I don't see why we can't do something similar to that case. I mean, just copy them, just copy them. But you gotta get the right person. Of course. Martinez deal has to happen before June 30th due to Villa PSR. Does it now? We should table 20 to 25 million and tempt them to sell. Well, I mean, maybe that's coming because of the updates, SK. I mean, it seems like it's getting a little bit more serious from these updates that are coming out, basically saying that, United have made initial contacts, and he's ready to join us, and he wants to stay in England. And again, I think he's a good goalkeeper. I rate him. I think he's very good. I think he's a very good shot stopper. He's a little bit, he has a couple moments where he loses his head a little bit and stuff like that. Shit happens, but I think when you're saying him or Onana, I'm taking Martinez every single day of the week. So, Nuba said, I watched another YouTuber made a comparison between Onana and Emi based on stats. They are very similar, especially when it comes to mistakes. Have any of us watched Emi playing every game? I've watched him play a lot of games. Not every single game, but I've watched a lot of games. Because I do watch, I don't just watch just United. I watch most of the Premier League. Especially when we're not playing. Like if we're not playing on the day. If United and Villa are playing at the same time, I can't watch Villa play, but when they're not playing at the same time, I do watch all the matches. And I don't know, statistic wise, I can't really tell you because I'm not a big statistics guy, but from my eyes and watching him, I don't get the same feeling that Emi Martinez makes the same sort of mistakes as Andre Onana. Now, maybe it's because he's at Villa, and when you come to Manchester United, it gets highlighted a lot more and talked about a lot more. Could be the case, but I don't have that sort of feeling about him. I think he's actually a very good goalkeeper and a good shot stopper. And I would like him if he comes to Manchester United. So we'll see what happens on that, and we'll keep an eye out because maybe we'll get a couple more updates while we are live. But let's switch gears real quick to let's go to Mbuemo and do the Mbuemo update. So Lyle says, I saw Stephanie make a great point. If we sign Martinez, he would be serving a 3-match ban at the beginning of the season. That is a good point. That is a good point because he did get a red card against us in the last match of the season, and he is out for three matches. I didn't think about that. That is an excellent point by Steph. And what do you do then? What do you do then? I don't know. There's a good question. Somebody's gotta. Whom have they transferred? We haven't transferred anybody. Did I say that anybody was transferred? We haven't transferred anybody. We've had decently. Seems like there's some movement going on in the goalkeeping department. Emi Martinez seems like it's getting a little bit more serious acts. That's all we've talked about so far. So, Box says, yo, Eric. Yo, Box, what's up, man? Nuba says, I hope I'm wrong. And you were right, Eric, because if United mess up again with the goalkeeper and need to replace him next summer, I'll be losing my mind. Well, that we can't do. And to be honest, Nubis, it's not about if I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong. Really, it's just about the club. The people in charge of a football club, they got to be right. They can't be wrong. So, they're the ones making the decisions. They're the ones in charge. They're the ones that have the, Box again. You and Kubis both said you'd prefer Chevalier. I mean, it's fine. I have no problem with that. I don't know enough about him to say if I can rate him or not. You know, that's somebody that I can't tell you. I haven't watched enough of him much at all. But probably the bigger point is that our club, Wilcox and, you know, the rest, Vivel, they are the ones that need to get this decision right, because I do agree with Kubis at the very basic level of, you know, his point is that they really can't mess this up again. So whatever they do decide to do, they got to get it right, because we can't afford, I mean, United as a whole right now, we can't afford to really make mistakes anywhere in any of the signings. And it's very difficult because even the best operating clubs and the clubs that have been successful consistently over the past few years now, even they don't get every single transfer right. So, and nobody ever does. You're never going to get 100% success rate in transfers. We are already walking a very fine line because of the situation we're in, and we're never going to get 100% accuracy, but we need to try and get the highest accuracy possible, because there's a couple things like the goalkeeping thing. We have to get that right because we got it wrong once. We can't get it wrong again. And the striker thing, we haven't gotten it right for years now. I mean, it's been like years and years now, and we can't afford to get it wrong at this point in time. And that's just because of the position of the club, unfortunately. So, Nubis says, any thoughts on the first 5 games of the season? We might end up with 3 points out of 15. Well, it's a very tough start. Very tough start. Very, very difficult. And I'm going to be quite honest. When I seen it, my initial reaction was, you have to be effing kidding me, because it just feels like they purposely selected. I don't know how they do the fixtures, but I just felt like when I seen that, I was like, it just seemed like they were somewhere in the room and they were like, all right, how can we best fuck United and Al Marim? You know what I mean? And they're like, let's do this. Let's make them play Arsenal on the first day. Give them 2 other games, and then also play Chelsea and Manchester City in the first 5 games. You know, and I was like, that's literally, we literally didn't necessarily need that, but at the same time, maybe again could be a silver lining, because these fixtures come out, these people at the club, Amarim included, with Wilcox and the rest of them, are looking at that and they go, all right, there was already pretty much no messing about, but really there's no messing about now. We better make sure that we have these players in for preseason and ready to fucking go, because our first 5 fixtures is the hardest in the Premier League out of every team, and we need to start this season off as strong as possible. And it just got a lot harder than we already were saying before the fixtures came out. So maybe it's a silver lining and it kicks them into gear to get the players in and move a little bit more faster with a little bit more urgency, and be a little bit more prepared than they already needed to be. You know what I mean? So, Lila says, what's the price tag on a Chevalier? I don't know. Good question. If somebody can answer it. Box says 35 to 40 million, I think. I mean, yeah. $15 out of 15 points we're getting. Well, that would be great. I hope we do. That'd be awesome. You know, but let's see. I mean, let's take it one match at a time. Let's get to Arsenal first on the opening day. Hopefully we could win. I mean, listen, if we go out there, we play Arsenal first match of the season, and we win, I mean, that's going to be a huge confidence booster going into the other games. And hopefully they are then able to keep consistency going forward from there. So Stephanie is here as well and says, "Good evening, Eric and Chat Legends." What's up, Steph? We were just talking about you, and then all of a sudden you just popped in. And you should change your name to Beetlejuice. I said your name 3 times, and there you were. You appeared. You appeared. And yes, Lyle did mention your very excellent point that, you know, if we do get Martinez, he is out for 3 games because he got a red card against us in the last game of the season. So it is a problem. Axe says, bro, less than 10 points out of the first 15 available means we need a new manager. No more excuses. That's fine. You can say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Because, again, it's not a great start. And I'll be, you know, disappointed. But I'm not... there's no way you're going to get me to say we need a new manager after 5 games in the season. So... he has the run of the season. Now, depends what it's looking like when we get to like November or something. Could be very different. We're very far off. There's a different story. First 5 games in the season, I ain't going Ruben Amorim out. It's not happening. So, it's not happening. Nubis says Arsenal already gotten Zubamendi and soon Sesko. Well, we have Cunha and soon Mbuemo, supposedly, which we're about to get to. Axe wielding the axe already. Yep. I mean, he's waiting. He's waiting. There's not much you could do right now because it's the off season. But once we kick off, that axe going to be swinging. Demiskin says United want Osimhen. Well, I'm sorry about that, but apparently that's off and it's not happening. But says he wants Osimhen, Mbuemo, Emiliano Martínez, Ederson, Hayden Hackney, Roger Fernandez, Malik Fofana to United is better for next season, please. SK says most of our matches should be Saturday 3 p.m. UK time this year. How's that for you? So that's 2, 1, 12, 11, 10. That's 10 a.m. in the morning for me. So actually, that's very good. That's very good. The worst one is when you play, when they play at noon in UK time, because that means that I have to wake up at around like 7 and watch the match, which I don't like to do because I usually, you know, Saturday, and I like to sleep and I have to get up and I have to watch United and then I have to come here, which I don't have a problem coming here, but I hate the fact that, especially when I wake up early and, you know, we lose or we play like shit and I'm like, well, it definitely wasn't worth it. And then I'm even more angry because it's like didn't get to sleep in like I wanted, and now also we lost, you know, or we had a shit performance, and now we got to go deal with that. Bach says Gyokeres late winner, then he kisses the badge in front of the Arsenal fans. The Arsenal fans, yeah. I mean, hopefully there is updates about Gyokeres as well. We're gonna get to that in a second. Hesty says, I think trying hard to boost Premier League viewers at the start of next season, United versus Arsenal, definitely going to work. Listen, I don't know. I don't know how they determine or how they do the fixtures. I don't know if they put it in a computer and it's random or, you know, whatever. But when I seen it, I was just like, my mind just went to like a bunch of people sitting in a room around a table with some dim ass lights, and they're just like, yeah, let's change all the United fixtures. Like, they put it in a computer. They were like, nah, fuck that. They were like, we hate them. Let's try and make it as miserable as possible. We got to carry on from last season. We want them to fail. And they changed around some of the fixtures without any of us knowing, and then they put it out. That's kind of what I feel like. Steph says, first 5 games unbeaten. Win, draw, win, draw, win. And I assume the way you did that, we'd beat Arsenal. I forgot, we're playing Burnley and somebody else, right? I forgot the 2 matches in the middle, and then Chelsea and then Man City. Steph says 12 likes, 14 watching. Yes, get those likes up, please. Box says it's a Gyokeres or a bust, in my opinion. Well, that's kind of how I feel. Because, I mean, again, I don't think there's somebody to really match his level. I know many people rate Mateta, and I guess he'd probably be my second choice, but I don't really know if that's going to happen because it just doesn't. It just doesn't. at the current moment, doesn't seem like it's that strong of a possibility. But I mean, we gotta see. Um, we gotta see. Fulham was the other one. Burnley and Fulham, yeah. And I mean, those aren't going to be necessarily easy matches either. I mean, Fulham is a decently good team to play against as well. So I mean, we should beat them. We should beat them, and in terms of like, you know, we're Manchester United, and we should be able to go and beat Fulham. But Fulham, they're still going to give us a game. They give most teams a game. They're not. It's not a walk in the park. Versus Fulham, and then Burnley, obviously. I mean, they're just newly promoted, so we should be getting over the line for that as well. I don't necessarily know how they're playing these days. Um, so it'll be interesting to see, but we'll figure it out. But let me go to Mbuemo. Let's do Mbuemo, and then we'll get to Gyokeres as well. So, day started off like this, and said Manchester United are on the verge of sealing a full agreement to sign Bryan Mbeumo, or whatever the hell his name is, with significant progress made in talks with Brentford. Mets winger Sheikh Sabali is lined up as his replacement, and this came via Team Talk. Team Talk provided that update. Then we also got another update following that went as Anil Kondola from Talk Sport said that an announcement for Bryan Mbeumo to Manchester United should be made within a week from now. Now, that was looking all good, and people were getting all happy and excited about that, even though, you know, I would say that the source isn't the strong. I mean, he's not bad, but it's just not, you know, it's not Fabrizio. Let's just put it that way. But it's not Fabrizio, but he's not bad. And lots of people were feeling giddy, and they were getting excited about that. And then, of course, like clockwork, an update comes from Duncan Castles, literally 2 hours after that. And Duncan Castle says, if Tottenham meet Brentford's £70 million asking price for Bryan Mbeumo, he might prefer them over Manchester United. Staying in London and continuing under Thomas Frank are likely key factors in his decision, which now has people panicking. But again, I hold my opinion in the fact of that I'm not worried about Tottenham. I'm not worried about Tottenham at all. I think, would Frank have some influence? Yes. If the deal with Manchester United falls through for whatever reason. But I don't think Frank being a Tottenham is enough for Mbuemo to be like, you know what? Never mind to Manchester United. I'm going to follow Thomas Frank to Spurs. I think we are still in pole position. He still only wants us. He wants to come here. He wants the deal. Manchester United are taking their time because we have to penny pinch a little bit, and we're trying to be financially responsible. And it makes sense. I mean, if you're sacking tons of workers, it would be completely irresponsible to go and start spending excessive money that you don't really want to spend. And also, we still need to sell to buy at some point. So we need to be a bit sort of frugal, which is not ideal because I don't really want us to be like that, but I get it because of this situation. I get it. I understand that this is the reality. It's not something that I like, and it's not something that I necessarily advocate for, but this is where we are. So this is why this thing seems to be taking so long to happen, because it's just a lot of itty-bitty kind of negotiations back and forth. Brentford standing strong and demanding as much money as possible. Manchester United negotiating back, trying to get it as low as possible so that we have more money for the next transfer, and also so that we can continue to do transfers. So there was another update about Mbuemo. So let me just find it, because you know me. Usually I have it up on the screen for you, but we didn't have the time to necessarily do that today. So I kind of gotta scroll. I kind of gotta scroll through and find and pick out the ones that we need. So one of the updates from Ben Jacobs was kind of a mixture. It was between Ekitike and Mbuemo, and they said that, you know, United's reported interest in Ekitike is just an inquiry at this stage, so nothing too serious. It doesn't mean much at the moment, as their main priority is securing a deal for Bryan Mbeumo. So I think Mbuemo will be the number two, the second signing of the season. I think that's quite clear at this moment in time, because but that shouldn't stop United from doing their homework. It shouldn't stop United from making inquiries and, you know, reaching out to clubs and other players to kind of get minor details and, you know, not waste time and kind of sitting on their ass while they're dealing with this Mbuemo thing. We should be able to kind of, you know, do a little bit of everything all over the place. So while we're waiting for this, we should be, you know, inquiring about Emiliano Martínez if that's what they're looking to do, and also, you know, Ekitike and whoever else that they're looking to get. No problem at all for that. There was an update from Rudy Galletti 6 hours ago about Mbuemo, saying new meeting in the last few hours between United and Brentford for Mbuemo. Further progress on the fee discussion. It's not sealed, but advancing. So this one's kind of dragging now. But we're still working on it. We're still in pole position. I'm not worried about losing him to Spurs. I'm really not. And I, you know, Duncan Castles has said what Duncan Castles wants to say, but I think the Spurs thing is, at the moment, Spurs hijacking it from United is dead, in my opinion. The only way he ends up at Spurs is if, for whatever reason, United can't figure out how to negotiate. Maybe we pull out because Brentford, it just breaks apart. If that happens, then he'll probably end up at Spurs. I'll admit that. But I don't think, right now, I don't think Mbuemo's sitting there and says, you know what, I've changed my mind. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. But Duncan Castles has apparently also said that apparently Manchester United have offered a package worth more than £60 million to Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo. So, I don't know. I mean, he's really the only one that's saying that. I don't know if he's talking about the second bid. But we did then get an update from Graham Bailey as well, saying Manchester United and Brentford are close to agreeing a fee for Bryan Mbeumo. United will pay over £60 million, with a fee around this level always assumed to be needed to convince Brentford to sell after seeing Cunha join for £62.5 million. Now, they say, you know, over £60 million with a fee around this level. We do have to wait for it to be, I guess, announced or confirmed that the bid goes in, because some of the journalists and some of the media, they like to add in the add-ons to the price. So he didn't specify whether that's the direct money that's going to be over 60 million or the deal in total. So we got to wait to see exactly the details, because sometimes they lump it in, and I don't agree with that, because add-ons are add-ons, and that comes from performances. And if the player is performing for you, then the add-on money is justified, and that means it's working. So I don't count those in until we hit it. And when we do hit it, that means that he's performing well, so it's fine. But some people probably aren't going to be too happy about that, because they've been saying that they don't want to pay that high of a fee. But we will see. 15 likes this stuff, yes. Lyle says we definitely need a better showing at Old Trafford next season. OMG last season was bad. I mean, we do. We need to figure out how to make it a fortress, because we can't succeed in any sort of way, Lyle. We can't succeed if we play horrible at home. What chance do we have away? You know what I mean? Usually it's the opposite. Usually you know, you're strong at home, and away matches are tough, because, I mean, they're just generally more tougher in general. But if you're struggling just as much as home as you are away, you don't stand a chance. So we do need to make sure that the home games, that we strengthen those performances and we win most of them. So yeah, Newbie says if United pay more than 60 million for Mbuemo, and he said this before I gave those updates, for the next signings, other teams will be asking for outrageous amounts of their players. Well, could be, but at the same time, it depends where we get them from. if we go Premier League, they could do the same that, Brentford are doing right now, where they're using the Cunha thing as basically a measuring stick for Mbuemo. So that could very well happen. But if it's outside, if we get somebody not in the Premier League, or outside the Premier League, maybe that doesn't necessarily have a direct effect. It might just be more of a general market thing. For example, like Gyokeres or whatever, a striker, if it's not Premier League, they could just be looking at sort of the international kind of market for the striker, and they'd base it off that. I mean, it happens. It's not ideal, but it does happen. So, yes, preseason starts 19th of July. Leeds in Sweden. Lyle says, drop a like, subscribe, and get in Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you're missing out, and you better get in there, because, I mean, I don't know why you're not in there already. So, click the link that Lyle's dropped. I pinned that message. You click that link, and you become a member of the Discord, and you stay up to date, and you get in good conversations. And also, when we're exactly going live, because I'll keep you updated in there. It's the easiest and best way to keep you updated. Quickest, fastest, everything. So if you're not in there, you're missing out. You're missing out. Lawrence Burry. What's up, Lawrence? Lawrence says, I still have a good feeling about Gyokeres, but Gunnar supporters think they can afford him and Sesko. Well, Gunnar supporters are delusional. I mean, that's just, we know that. Everybody knows that. There is no way in hell that they're going to sign Sesko and Gyokeres. Like, it's not going to happen. They only play one striker. They play two strikers, maybe, but they're not. And you know what? To be fair, they probably maybe could afford both, but it doesn't make sense for them to do both anyway. So if they play two strikers, then maybe I would lean into that a little bit more. But it was always Sesko or Gyokeres. And also, let's just talk about that real quick before we jump into Gyokeres. Obviously, the updates came about Gyokeres and said, basically, it was being worded like, Gyokeres has basically told Manchester United no, because he prefers Arsenal. So he's prioritizing Arsenal over Manchester United, but they were writing it as he's rejected United. And then, like 2 days later, they basically came out and they were like, well, he hasn't actually written United off. They basically are just stating that if Arsenal come for him or Arsenal want him, he will choose to go to Arsenal over Manchester United. But, I mean, it's stupid because Arsenal are literally in negotiations for Sesko. The negotiations are going well. They're not on the verge of necessarily breaking down. And he's more likely to end up at Arsenal. So, the updates that came the 2 days before that were pretty much nonsense. Because we already all knew that. We don't have Champions League. He's still on the list, and we have updates about that, so I will get into that in a second. Lawrence asked me if I'm enjoying the Club World Cup. Not really. I don't really like the setup of the competition itself. Maybe it gets better after this sort of group stage, but I kind of just feel like the level and difference of competition between some of the teams and the football that is being played is like it's low level. To me it feels like a preseason tournament right now. Even though people are playing, their best teams and stuff like that, I'm not really enjoying it that much. I don't really like the format. I don't understand the coefficient thing and how they got some of these teams in here. Like, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You have something called the Club World Cup, and you get a team that played against Bayern Munich, and they get slapped up 10-0. Like, I don't understand that. I think it's dumb. Maybe it gets better once we get through this group stage and starts heating up a little bit more. There's been some games that have been all right. And some decently good games, but a lot of the games have been underwhelming. They haven't been that exciting. Some draws, boring football being played. So listen, at the current moment in time, it's good enough to just have something on, especially, for me, because the matches start late here for us. I mean, it's later for you guys, but like typically for us, like I just said before, Premier League Saturday, it's like 10 a.m. or 7 a.m. here. So, it's kind of like in the morning for us. But because it's over here, it starts at 3 p.m., then it goes to like 6 p.m., and then there's one at like 8 or 9 p.m. So it's good to have, there's some football and you could throw on the TV and kind of just, lazily watch it if it's not the best sort of thing. So Esty says, if you wanted to follow Thomas Frank, why would he said he wanted to join United in the first place? Just doesn't make sense. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, he's at Brentford, and it was his last year of his contract, and he was looking to go to a, bigger club, right? So, and the way it happened was like, United came in, and he was like, I'm absolutely going to go to United because it's a bigger club than Brentford. But then, like, a couple days after, Postecoglou got sacked, and Thomas Frank was not confirmed yet, but was pretty much like dead on to get the Tottenham job. And that's why the dynamic sort of shifted, because I don't think Mbuemo was privy at that information that Postecoglou was going to get sacked and his current manager at Brentford was going to end up at Spurs. So it kind of changed the dynamic a little bit, because it's like, well, Spurs are in Champions League and they are considered a bigger club than Brentford. And also, he has a good relationship with Thomas Frank, and now he's going to be the manager there. So it's kind of like a step up. And that's why I guess that narrative is happening. But again, I've always said the fact that he turned down multiple clubs and gave us priority, and they could offer Champions League football and we couldn't. I don't think Frank going to Spurs was enough to make him be like, you know what, never mind, I want to go there. I think if it falls through with United, I think there's a very good chance he can go there, because it's more attractive to him now. He knows the manager, he has a good relationship, he knows he plays good in his system, and it's a step up, and he gets to play in the Champions League. So, but I don't think it's enough for him to be like, I'm not going to United. Nubis says PSG are moving fast. Palmeiras game just ended, and they are rumored to be putting a bid on Richard Rios, someone who was linked to United last summer before we signed Algarte. Yeah, I seen that, and I don't think we're actually looking to get Richard Rios. I think our name is being used in that transfer. He was linked to us last summer. You're absolutely correct, Nubis. But I did see that story the other day, and I'm not buying it, to be quite honest. I think our name is being used. I don't think we're actually. I mean, we're not ready to do that deal. Again, the focus is in Mbuemo, and we're gonna get Mbuemo done, and then we're gonna move probably on to the striker. So I think the Richard Rios thing is literally just our name being used. In that case, so I wouldn't buy into it too much. Box says new rumors every day, to be fair. I mean, every single day. Every single day. I mean, but this is the norm. This is the norm. Why so much for Buenos? Well, because I drew a blank. Because Brentford are arguing that because of what we paid for Cunha, they want something around there, because he's either performed better or similar to what Cunha has done in the league. And so they are arguing that they are using that as like the measurement for his price. So I think this is why it's being dragged out now, because Brentford are kind of being a pain in the ass about it. I mean, he doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't he have like 1 year left on his contract? So United are like trying to argue back and be like, yeah, we get he had his best season last season, and he might have had like more goals and assists than Cunha, and you paid 62.5 million for Cunha, but the contract differences were different. I mean, Cunha had a release clause, and also like he had more years left on his contract. And I think that's what, like, this is why it's kind of a bit of a deadlock right now, because they are They want that money. They want 60 million plus for him. So they're not making it easy. Plus also obviously like Premier League tax and shit like that. So that's always going to be accounted for, or, you know, accounted in. RGF TTY, why are you going on about Mbuemo hijack bull? Well, I mean, if you were here listening, I would have explained, you would have heard me explain how I don't think that that's actually going to happen. And I don't think that's real. And I've never been concerned about Spurs hijacking Mbuemo from us. So, but you seem to be one of those people that you read a headline and you make up the story in your head before listening to anybody else or hearing the person out. So, I mean, I can't help you there. That sounds like a personal problem, to be quite honest. But, yeah, I mean, I've been saying for like the past couple weeks now that I'm not worried about Spurs hijacking Mbuemo. Don't think it's going to happen. And I think he'll be a Manchester United player soon. The reason why it's titled that is because this is a news show and that's what's written in the news. And that's why there's a question mark after it, because it's a question and we're answering the question. So, Nubis Kubis says Gyokeres' agent is the same agent for Frankie de Jong. He's as bad as that Pogba's former agent, Minariola, you're talking about. Who is his agent, Nubis? I mean, he seems like it because of what transpired, Nubis. I mean, his agent coming out and basically going crazy and basically launching a war against the president publicly. So it does seem like he does fit in that camp, Nubis. You're absolutely right. But I actually forgot his name. I don't even know him that well. So Nubis says, I'm curious why United haven't made a move for free agents like Jonathan David, Nelson Semedo, etc. It's fail-safe strategy in case we couldn't sell anyone this summer. That's another good point, Nubis. Another excellent point. And you're absolutely right. I agree 110%. I think we should definitely be looking. We should definitely be looking at those sort of things. I think you're 100% correct that it's basically almost fail-safe. I mean, you might have to pay a bit high in wages because those players that are free, them and their agent tend to argue you need to give us a higher wage. So maybe that's a reason. Again, we have to understand the situation at United. We're trying. I don't know if you can actually get away with this. I feel like you can't, but I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to be serious. They're trying to make significant moves, but at the same time, they're trying to be, and they call it fiscally responsible or financially responsible, whatever you want to call it. I call it being frugal, pretty much. We're in a situation where we're trying to be serious. We're trying to actually improve the team, but also at the same time, we're being a bit frugal. So maybe they're not looking necessarily at the free agents because maybe they don't like the idea of, if we go and get Jonathan David and he's a free agent, he might ask for $200,000 a week or $250,000 a week because we don't have to pay a fee for him. And they don't want to pay that much money to somebody on that wage, because even if you sign him on that wage, if it doesn't work out, it's still a high wage. And then what's going to happen is we're going to be in a similar situation to what we're in now with some of the players that we have, where we can't sell them because there might be some interest, but nobody wants to pay the wage that they're on. And then we get stuck with them. And then we have players, once again, that are considered deadwood. We can't move on. And we would have to start doing things like we're doing now, which are loans and potentially options to buy or obligations to buy. So maybe that's why I don't like that necessarily, because again, I think we need to spend money to be successful. I don't think you can necessarily be successful by being cheap. I don't think it works. Especially when everybody else is always looking to spend money anyway. And a lot of United fans are very cautious because of the things that's gone in the past. But I would say you can't stop spending money just because we've fucked it up in the past and we've got it wrong. The only way to get out of it is to continue to spend money. You just the only difference is you need to spend the money right, and you got to get the decisions right. You can't just be like, we need to slow down, we need to spend less money so that we don't get burned. I mean, I get the fear, but it doesn't work like that. So and Bach says no club seems interested in David, and they don't. And I've said this before, like weeks and weeks ago, and he says, I wonder why. I wonder why too. I wonder what it is about him that they don't seem interested in him. I don't know what it is. There hasn't been a story or anything or a report coming out as to an explanation as to, why some clubs don't seem to be, or clubs don't seem to be interested in him at all. I mean, he is a free. There should be like some sort of decently significant interest in him, but there seems to be nothing at all. So it's a little bit puzzling. But it's got to be something. There's got to be something maybe about his game, or I don't know. It is funny. Ax says, what happened with the agent? Well, what was this, like a week or two ago? Basically, everybody was like, all right, Gyokeres and Sporting have an agreement for about 60 million to leave, right? And then apparently Sporting and the president of Sporting were saying that there was no such agreement, because it was a verbal agreement. He came out and said there's no verbal agreement, that was never a thing, and they were trying to shop him for 80 million. Gyokeres' agent came out and basically started a public war, or fought into it with the president, going back at him, attacking him, and saying that the president is lying and that there absolutely was an agreement. We have it actually written in contract. It's not just in verbal. We have it on paper. And we have people to vouch that this agreement was made. And it kind of started a whole shitstorm because the president and Gyokeres' agent were going public, back and forth. And now it seems to have died down, at least for a little bit. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know if they've come to an agreement that he can go for 60 or whatever it is. But yeah, it took a left turn out of nowhere, and it made it seem like, from a deal that was very straightforward to one that got messy publicly, and now seems one that's a little bit more complicated. I don't know exactly what's happening on that front in terms of what fee they're agreeing that he can go for. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what happened. Nubis says his agent, Hassan Chetinkaya, said Ajax wanted 30-40 million for De Jong when Barca wanted to buy him, but his agent convinced Ajax to hold on for a higher fee, end up paying 60 million because he gets 10% from the fee. And that's, I mean, he does have that written in the contract as well, in the agreement, supposedly, that he does get 10% if they reject a fee. And that was something that Sporting is mad about as well. All agents are out for themselves. Well, they are. Because it's part of their job. It's a snakish job. It is. It's not a nice job, but I mean, it's part of their job. They do get paid off of percentages, right? So they try. I mean, it's the bad part of kind of having an agent, because it does get sort of it does get selfish. You know what I mean? It gets selfish. Like, really, as an agent, you're supposed to be performing for your client, but you get these guys that are money hungry, and they want the biggest cut as possible as well for themselves, and then they go for their player. It's kind of ass backwards. It kind of defeats the purpose of having an agent. The agent is supposed to be there to protect you and look for your best interest, and when you have an agent that is half looking out for your interest, but then also half looking out for his own interest, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. So I question some of these players sometimes, because I just feel like if I was in that situation and I seen my agent sort of doing things like that, where he's kind of looking out a little bit too much for himself, I'd be like, I don't want you around me. I'm going to get somebody else that actually only cares about really representing me, which is probably hard to find, but there's got to be a couple of them out there for sure. There's no way that that they're all like that. Nubis says Tyreek Mitchell, left wing back, Alex Moret, goalkeeper, Kyle Walker-Peters, right wing back, are also free. I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe it's something we do later on in the window, but because they're free and maybe we don't necessarily have to move at this moment in time. If nobody else is really moving for them as well. And also we can just jump in at any time, right? So we don't necessarily have to go in for those guys. And we could also wait, you know, if another club gets involved, we could kind of see what they're offering and then kind of maybe, you know, outbid them in a certain way. And maybe we steal it from under their nose as well. So, I mean, we gotta see. Newbie says just pay those free agents the signings fee. No need to pay high wages. If they want high wages like Tosin, then move on. I mean, yeah, fair point. Fair point. Newbie says, I mean, at least we would have tried. So far, we tried nothing. Yeah, you know what? I was going to say before, I hope it's, you know, I hope it's somewhere part of the plan. Because I feel like if we don't kind of look at that Nubis, then we're still operating incompetently. I think that's not smart to not really be looking at that sort of market and looking in that sort of range. We should be looking everywhere, and our nose should be in everything, and we should be trying to do the most we possibly can. So, Box says, yeah, I'm not worried. Just bring in quality players like Gyokeres. Oh, that's their job, man. That's their job. United broke the football by being not frugal, and now are unable to compete because they've started being frugal. Well, they're being frugal because we've destroyed ourselves. You know what I mean? So again, like, I don't think, like, the thing is, like, it's not like it's two different situations. If we had like loads of money and they were just like, no, we want to be cheap, that's like 100% just completely wrong. You know what I mean? But because our situation is shit, and because of everything that we've done over the past 12 years, we have hit a point where, like, they do seriously, like, they're trying to do serious business. But at the same time, you know, we have 1.5 hands tied behind our back. And the fact of that, like, they are trying to do serious business. They are trying to get good quality players that they do cost money. And the issue is that these deals, they might just not go as fast as we want them or would like them to do, because we have to still mind the money because of the situation that the football club is in. Because we've burnt $1 billion or 1.5 billion, you know, like, from Ed Woodward to Richard Arnold, the amount of money that we spent and we burned, and lit on fire, and it reaped no rewards from it, and the way the club was operating and losing money over the past 4 years in a row, at some point you will hit a point, which is the point that we're at now, especially because, you know, this season, the season that just passed, what happened also added to it 110%. But you will hit a point where this happens, and then you have to do something to get out of it. So again, I understand why they're being like this. I don't like it, and I don't advocate for it. And at the same time, I would tell them and be like, I get it, but don't forget, like, we need to still spend money. Like, as much money as we can spend, like, actually spend without like putting the club in a detrimental spot. We need to spend that money. So, and they would be like, yes, that's why we are taking so long on this Mbuemo deal, because they will argue every penny counts because of this tight situation that we're in. So it's not great. It's not great. It's not ideal. But listen, if we can somehow navigate through this and come out on a positive side at the end of the window where we look decently strong and we can actually have a better season, the following season should be easier than what's going on right now, and we should be in a better position, and hopefully then we can continue to carry on from there. That's the only way we're going to get out. It ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. It's not easy, the task at hand that they got to do right now. So Axe says best agents are family members, but then remember Rashford's. Yeah. You know, again, it's not. Sometimes they are acts. Sometimes they are. You're right. But then, you know, like you pointed out, you know, then remember Rashford. It's like there are quite. You know, there's some players they have their father as their agent, and their father is good, and they always get them a really good deal, and they look out for the best interest, and it goes really well. And sometimes it goes very wrong. Um, I would just say it's really on the human being. You just got to find a good human being. You know, whether that's a family member or just, you know, an actual agent that does it as a profession. You just got to find a good human being. It's like, you know, kind of all other professions, like doctors or lawyers and stuff like that. There's bad doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad nurses, there's bad everything. There's bad dentists, there's bad agents, there's bad managers, there's bad, you know, there's bad players. But there are good ones out there. But you got to take the initiative to go out and first of all, you got to want them, but then also you got to go and find them, and then you got to get them. And I feel like sometimes these players, I question them a little bit when I look at their agent, and I'm like, that doesn't bother you, because it bothers me, and he ain't even my agent. But I kind of put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, I wouldn't have an agent like that. I don't think you're looking out for the best interests of the player, and that's literally your job description. A lot of keeping us updated. It says Messi with the beauty of a free kick. Typical Messi. Miami 2, Porto 1. Miami is winning. Let's go Becks. Let's go Becks. Let's go Becks. Box is embarrassing for Porto to be losing to Miami. Well, yep. You know, considering that Porto play in Europe, like Champions League and Europa League, and Miami is Miami, and they play in the MLS. It is. But you know, Miami is home, kind of. They have a home advantage, so. And Porto are playing away, because it's a long way away. So, yeah. And Rabiot's agent, yeah, good point. How's Samu performing and more? Yeah, somebody, I don't know if you guys are watching. If anybody's watching, let us know. Lawrence says, I'm enjoying these Club World Cup matches. Messi free kicks, Saudis getting draw against Real Madrid. No, I mean, listen, some of the matches have been good. I'm slightly disappointed with some of the other matches, and also maybe it's just because I had sort of a different idea for the tournament. I think that I kind of feel like and maybe this is elitist of me, I don't really know. But I kind of just feel like they had sort of an open goal where, like, if they were going to create this sort of competition, they could have literally just ripped off the Super League and made the Super League this league, or this competition specifically, where they would literally get all the best teams and all the winners from all the leagues and then have them compete in one giant tournament. I don't understand how a team that, you know, that team that Bayern Munich played, that they're like basically semi-professional, I don't understand how they're in it. I don't get it. I don't get how they're choosing teams. I don't really understand the format, because it's Club World Cup, so I don't really get how they get in. But I would have probably been like, let's just rip off the Super League, because they wanted to make one. Let's steal it from them, and let's just put it in as this tournament instead of the Club World Cup. I mean, they could have still called it the Club World Cup, but just formatted the way the Super League was going to be. But just, you know, make it so that you can go in and out depending on who are the best performing teams in the league. So, but maybe it gets even better, you know, after kind of this group stage sort of thing. Because once it gets into, you know, whatever round of 16 knockout games like that, then it tends, competitions usually turn up. So maybe it'll get better. United played against Al yesterday. We would have lost easily. Maybe, probably, could be. I don't know. You never know. You never know. Axe is what happened to Bayern. Bayern played a team that was like, they're like semi-professional. I think they're from like Australia or something. They were they're in the Club World Cup. They're like basically semi-level professional. I might be underestimating them there, but I mean, they're very low level, very, very low level. They played them. It was one of the first matches of the Club World Cup, and Bayern beat them 10-0. Like, for me, to start a competition and you have Bayern Munich playing a team like that, and Bayern obliterates them 10-0. Like, it's not. I don't see it as a good look. I think that's boring, actually. It's just like everybody knew Bayern was going to win. Everybody was saying that like Bayern are going to score 7. I don't understand why that's a thing. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't think it's I don't think it's a good look. I really don't. Auckland City FC, New Zealand. Yeah. Yeah, beat them 10-0. Beat them 10-0. I mean, like Axe, if you go look at the team, like go look at them. They're literally nothing. Like, with all due respect, but they're literally nothing. Like they should never be playing Bayern Munich ever. Like, they should never play a Bayern Munich. They should never play a Real Madrid, because they stand absolutely zero chance. And it's like you put them in a Club World Cup. That's like the equivalent of. That's the equivalent of getting Malta and putting them in the actual World Cup. Like, we will get obliterated against every team. Like, we will stand no chance. We will lose every single game, and every team will beat us by at least 5 goals. You're talking about if we had to play England, Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Spain, whatever. Like, we would get absolutely obliterated. Like, we don't stand a chance. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What is Club World Cup? I mean, have you been living under a rock? It's a new competition that FIFA made. I don't really know exactly how they're determining the teams that play in this, but they've created a new tournament that they're playing right now, and it's being played in America. So, Lawrenceberry says, Miami ahead of Porto. This is what I always fear about the Portuguese league. And then we see Ruben's adaptability to the Prem. Yes. But here's my thing about that I don't have a problem with that. There has been many, many players, and there has been a good amount of managers and coaches that they have come to the Premier League from the Portuguese league, and they have succeeded. They have a high success rate. Players and managers that were from the Portuguese league have come to the Premier League, and they have a high success rate. So I don't have that same worry at all. I know the football is different, and I know the league is different, and I know that for sure, because basically it's like a 3-team league, essentially, and everybody else is quite low level. But, I mean, you look at City, look at the players that they got from the Portuguese league. They all have been fantastic for them. We got Bruno, we also got Ronaldo, and we also got Nani. They were all good for us. Mourinho came from there, and a couple other managers as well. So I don't think it's that bad. Now you'll get, does everything work out? No. So could Ruben be one of the ones that it wasn't meant to be, like it doesn't work out, like it doesn't adapt well? Sure, but I don't think you can say just because it's the Portuguese league, because it's not like there's a bad record for it. There isn't. There isn't. But there's always potential for it to go wrong, for sure. Club World Cup is a money grab. Yeah, essentially, pretty much. That's why it's in America. I mean, I told you guys. Like, this is where the money is. You can literally charge fans $300, $400 for a preseason game, where you might not even watch first teamers for more than 40 minutes, and the stadiums will be sold out. There isn't hype too much about this right now. I mean, they said that the ticket sales are low. But I'm sure they're still charging a lot more money than they could charge in Europe, 110%. So, wasn't a competition for teams that won their Continental Champions League? I don't think so. I don't know how they're doing. I didn't look into it too much because, like Bach said, I viewed it as a money grab, and I was just like, I'm not really too interested in it. I think it's shit. Box's old leagues have flops who come to the EPL. Some people are snobbish, re Portuguese league. Yeah, I think the Portuguese league kind of gets a really bad rep by some people, to be quite honest. And I don't lean that way because, again, I have 3 Portuguese friends. I've known them for like 15, 16, 17 years of my life, I've watched the Portuguese league. I'm well informed on the Portuguese league. I think a lot more than most other people, because I think most other people, they have no, there's no reason for them to watch the Portuguese league. There's no reason for them to pay attention to the Portuguese league at all. So they just kind of just say, yeah, Portuguese league is absolute dog shit, and they dismiss everything from it. But at the same time, I would argue, if you're talking about Porto, Benfica, and Sporting, these are three teams that they always compete in Europe, and they've won European cups, and not Sporting, but Benfica and Porto, and they usually do decently well. I mean, as of late, they've done a little bit less, but I mean, Porto and Benfica, they used to get to like quarterfinals and stuff of the Champions League. And then obviously Porto won it with Mourinho. That was a while back, but still didn't. And Benfica won it a while ago as well, long time ago. But they still perform decently well when they get into the European competition. So I know the league isn't the strongest because it's them three, and then the rest are kind of just like, you know, very low level compared to everybody else. But at least from them three, if you're getting players from them three, there's a good shot. I mean, they have good academies. They produce good players. They've been doing it for quite some time. So it's not, I don't necessarily agree with all the hate that they get. Because people talk about it like, some people talk about the Portuguese league like it's like, you know, my people's league. My people's league is semi-professional. Like, and I'm like, dude, it's like the fucking, you know, it's not even close. Lauren says, I feel bad because Ruben's skepticism has overcome me. You're right, and I hope he's the next Mourinho. Well, I don't even want him to be the next Mourinho. I just want him to be Ruben Amorim, and I want him to succeed. I don't even really want him to, I want him to be his own thing. I want him to be his own success. I don't want him to be Mourinho. I want him to be Ruben Amorim, the guy that come from Sporting and was able to actually do something at Manchester United. So, Portuguese football is inferior to other top leagues. Nani, CR7, Mourinho, etc. are the exceptions. Yeah, what about Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz? Paulinho came from there as well. And Ricardo Carvalho. I mean, you know, he's not playing anymore, but Ricardo Carvalho, Bosingwa. There's been loads of players that have come to the Premier League and they've performed. Again, nobody is saying Portuguese football is on the level of top 5 because they're not in the top 5 of leagues. We get that, but it completely dismiss any player or manager that comes from the Portuguese league solely because it's the Portuguese league is incorrect, because they actually have a good success rate coming over to England and they can perform. So Newbie says, I just realized that the winner of the Club World Cup gets 40 million. That's the money to buy one good player. Yes, they do. And that's why clubs, especially clubs like Porto and stuff like that, they're hyped about this because Portuguese league don't got money. They need money. And so they're hyped to be in this competition. So actually, you know, considering our situation, it would have been good to be in it because even if you lose and you play like shit, you still get a good guaranteed amount of money regardless. So, yeah. So, but let's do Gyokeres and then we'll jump back in because I kind of want to get this over the line. Before we do get to Gyokeres, though, quickly I will say there's a story about a striker. His name is Tolu Akoro Dare. I think he plays for Ghent or something like that. And Graham Bailey said that United scouts have pushed his name, and he is someone that Christopher Villa and Jason Wilcox are aware of and appreciate. I don't know anything about this guy. I'm gonna be quite honest. I always tell you, when I don't know them, I don't know them. I don't know shit about him. Don't know shit about him. Don't know if he's good. Don't know what age he is. I'm Googling him right now. He plays in the Belgian Pro League, so yeah, he plays for Genk. This season, he's apparently played 40 matches, has 21 goals and 5 assists. He's 24 years old. 24 years old, and just plays striker. He's Nigerian. And it seems like, according to the transfer market, his current market value is 18 million euros. So, um, yeah, he hasn't played anywhere big. I don't know what to tell you about this, to be quite honest. I mean, it seems like a one-off story to me. It seems like it's come out of nowhere. I don't really get it. But I tell you this much. I mean, if we end up with this guy, he better be a bloody revelation. Axe says, okay, good night, see ya. All right, good night, Axe. See you later, buddy. He better be some diamond in the rough, because if we don't get Gyokeres, or we don't get some type of top striker, and we get this guy, and then this guy is anywhere close to anything like a Weghorst or something like that, or an Agalo, we might as well just end the season. We might as well just wrap it up for that season and say we'll go again next season. So I don't know. I think Portugal League is 5th. No, they're not 5th. They're not 5th. If you type in top 5 leagues, it's Premier League, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. Now, you can personally argue what you think, but from the footballing, I guess, world, FIFA or whoever decides who the top 5 leagues are, anywhere you look, when you type in top 5 leagues, it will say Premier League, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. France is considered top 5. Portugal is not. So you could argue that it's better than the French league, or the Dutch leagues, and that's fine. But in traditional sense, they're not considered top 5 league. I heard the rumor about United interested to sign Aruna Sangante from Lee Harvey for 8 million. I haven't seen that, but the guy is Sporting level signing. Southampton, sorry. Yeah, probably box, probably. I mean, he's just made his debut for Nigeria. March 21st, 2025. He's had 4 appearances and he has 1 goal. So at the age of 24, he's just become an international for Nigeria as well. So I mean, he's not I don't see how this guy would possibly be pulling up trees if we get him. So yeah. Any thoughts on Palace trying to sign Ousmane Diomande from Sporting? Well, I mean, I think he would be a good player there. I think he is a good player. I listen. I mean, I would get him, but like, it's not something that it seems like that we can do or that we're gonna do. So that's gonna be one where people have been asking, like, we should sign him because he's good, and you know what? If they sign him, fair play to him, and I guess we'll get to see what he does in the Prem at Palace. And then we'll know for sure, how good he actually is. And we'll see what happens, because you know what? I mean, they can sign him and he can be really, really good, and then all of a sudden they're selling him for like 80, 100 million. Which typically happens a lot. Where we're like, well, we should have signed this guy. Now he's at this Premier League club, and now he's like double the price. So, but I just we're not in the position to really do that, considering that we still need to sign a striker. They're looking to get in a midfielder, and then after that, and I think a goalkeeper as well. So, but Viktor Gyokeres, real quick, Alex Crook said, I had a message 24 hours ago or so suggesting that Viktor Gyokeres has told friends and family he expects to join Arsenal. I don't really understand how, unless they're pivoting, unless they're working on both, and if they can do some sort of an agreement with Gyokeres, then they just tell Sesko, to piss off, and they go with Gyokeres. So I don't really know, but We did have the update from Ben Jacobs in the United stand saying that just because Viktor Gyokeres prefers Arsenal doesn't mean he's turned down Manchester United. There's no message from him in regards to outright saying no to United. Arsenal are in a more advanced position. So, I mean, I'm still slightly confused because as far as I know, they're more advanced in Sesko than they are for Gyokeres. So I don't really understand how. And I guess that's why they're being delusional and they think they're going to sign both. But I mean, I'd be astonished if they signed both Gyokeres and Sesko. I think that would be absolutely insane. I don't see it happening. I don't think it's a thing. But let me just see if we got anything else because there was a couple things while we were going live. 68 free kick goals for Messi. Well, that's Messi for you. There hasn't been any. What's this? Here we go. So one of the players that I always wanted kind of United to sign, but obviously, you know, we miss out on these sorts of things. So if you know who Rooney I can't pronounce his last name. Bardaji, the guy that plays for Copenhagen. We played against him. He played against us one time. He's like 17, 18. He's freaking amazing. Apparently Barcelona made contact to be informed on deal conditions. Direct talks took place. So seems like Porto went for him as well. I sent a bid 2 weeks ago, but yeah, apparently Barca are in for him, and that's another winger. And they're also this is Fabrizio Romano reporting this, and Fabrizio saying that that is separate from Nico Williams' deal. So not only are they going for Nico Williams, but they're also going for this guy. So I don't see how Marcus Rashford is going to end up at Barcelona. I just don't see it. So I don't know what Marcus is doing. I don't know what Marcus is waiting for. I don't really understand what's going on in that department. I don't get it. Because there's no chance in hell that there's enough space for him to play on the wing. Unless they want to get Marcus on a loan and use him as a number 9. But other than that, they still have Lewandowski. So I don't see how he possibly can play winger. So I don't understand. Because Barca are making moves for Nico Williams and they're making moves for this kid. But you know who they're not making moves for? Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford is apparently sitting there and saying, I want Barcelona. Barcelona is my top priority. And meanwhile, Barcelona is running around and getting other people that play in his position. It's kind of like a guy that's in love with the girl. And the girl has no interest in him. And then at the same time, the guy is watching the girl run around, hook up with a bunch of different guys. And it's just like, no, I'll just wait. It's like, dude, she clearly isn't into you, and you should clearly move on and stop wasting your time. And go sort something else out. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So, Nubis says, according to reports on X from journalist Sebastião Souza Pinto, what a name. United are keen on FC Porto's Diego Costa as a replacement for Onana off the back of consecutive poor campaigns. Diego Costa's release cost of around 64 million pounds. Yeah, I did see that. It's somewhere here. I was going to actually bring that up as well. But I kind of started going for the other news. Where did I see that? By the way, where was that story? Oh, there was another couple updates actually that we didn't talk about, so I'm gonna read those out right now as well. There was one about Osimhen, one about Rasmus. But actually, I was just looking for that Diego Costa one you bring up because I did see it from one of the aggregators. I was going to bring that in, and I totally forgot when we were talking about the goalkeeper. So, um, oh, right here. So, somebody more, well, I was going to say more English, but that's not the right word. Ben Jacobs, somebody, I guess more credible, because I don't know who Sebastião Sosa Pinto is. And maybe he is credible, but I just don't know who he is. Ben Jacobs, who was on the United Stand earlier in the day, said, while there's been no approach, Diogo Costa is a name that Manchester United have discussed internally. They are fans of him. So it kind of adds on to what you were saying, Nubis. Um, I mean, listen, he's a good goalkeeper. He's probably one of the top prospects out there. It's a lot of money, £64 million for a goalkeeper. I'd still be a little bit worried about doing that sort of deal because, like you mentioned before, Nubis, we can't really afford to get that wrong. I mean, if we go to do that and we pay £64 million and it goes wrong, we fucked up twice, and it's not going to be good for us. So I have tiny reservations about him because I have seen him make some shitty mistakes. He's done it on international duty. He's done it at Porto. I've seen him do it. In Portuguese, they call them frangos. Um, I've seen him do that. He's still a good goalkeeper, very good goalkeeper, and he can sweeper keep, and he is good. But I worry a little bit because what you don't want is him to get sort of exposed, kind of like what has happened to Onana, where it just didn't start off well and the pressure continued to build and it cracked him and it broke him. And I wouldn't want that to happen to Costa. But again, I'm all for getting a new goalkeeper. So if United can get one, that's good. And if we have a new starting goalkeeper, then do it. I just hope that it works out. Is all that I could really say. So if Villa want 40 million for EMI, might as well go for Diogo. I mean, it's a 24 million difference. We got to have the money to be able to do that as well, because I mean, that's not like, you're not talking about 5 million. It's 24, basically 25 plus the wages difference. So, I mean, in regular circumstances, I get it, because I mean, he's way younger and he's one that's going to last you a longer time and more for the future. And if you have the money, I think obviously from a footballing standpoint, it would be almost sort of a no-brainer, because it'd be like, well, if you're going to spend 40 on this guy and he's probably only going to be able to give you 4 or 5 good years and then that's it. But you could just spend an extra 24 million on this goalkeeper and he could be there for the next 10, 15 plus years. You know what I mean? Lyle says, yeah, Barca signing Nico Williams completely drops Rashford outside of the convo. LL Rashford looking at his crush friends, zoning him. Like, but this is what I'm saying. Like, so I don't really understand what him and his people are doing and looking at. I don't, because I kind of get the feeling right now that Marcus's brother has had conversations with Barcelona, and Barcelona basically like stringing him along. But where's the, like, if, I'm sorry, but I don't know what they've told him, right? So, but whatever they told him, I think maybe you should wake up and smell the coffee a little bit, because I'd be like, hey, words are cheap. And why aren't they moving for you? Like, if they like you and they want you, wouldn't they be trying to do some sort of a deal right now instead of going for like Nico Williams and then like some 17, 18-year-old kid that they both play in your position, and they're going to add more to the competition than there already is? I mean, people were like, how is he going to get in with Yamal and Rafinha? I mean, how is he going to get in that position now? And maybe they've promised him something and they're hoping that, they keep their word. I don't know. I think if that's the case, I think it's very foolish and naive. But I've always been sort of a little bit weary of trying to dissect the people that supposedly are involved with Marcus Rashford in terms of, you know, like his agent and sort of the people that, you know, run his brand, because we don't know these people. We don't know. I mean, we might know like their names or something, but we don't know them. We don't know exactly the conversations they have between each other. We don't know them as like people. So we don't know like exactly what that is. So I've always tried to like not go too hard into them, but the more things happen, it just seems like that narrative becomes more and more true, that these people around him really are either just they're really bad at their jobs, or they just don't have his best interest for him, and they're doing stupid bad things. And also Marcus at the same time, because he's not being smart, because he's being naively loyal. He's, you know, he's maybe he's too much on the inside to be able to look from the outside objectively like we can, because we're looking at it from the outside and we're like, I don't know, Marcus, you want to play, you want to be involved in England, you're trying to get your career back on track. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're putting everybody on the back burner because you're hoping and dreaming for Barcelona, and Barcelona don't seem that interested in you. So you're taking advice from these people that are telling you to sit and wait for Barcelona because they're telling you that's the best possible thing, and you just go along with whatever they say. It doesn't seem like Rashford has any sort of disagreements with these people. Like, if Rashford says something, they just yes him and they tell him he's the best and they go with what he says. And if they tell him something, he just yeses them and just says and just goes with whatever they say. So I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. I find it strange. And I find it a little bit sad, to be quite honest, because it's almost like he's getting taken advantage of in a certain aspect. It's a bit sad. It is a bit sad. So, um, one of the updates also from Ben Jacobs was that Manchester United are not in the race for Victor Osimhen, as the player won't significantly adjust his wage demand. So apparently he's out. But I'm sure next week we'll get a story that says Victor Osimhen to United is on and that we're interested in signing him. So, I mean, Osimhen literally for the past like 4 to 5 weeks has been United are looking to get Osimhen. Next week is Osimhen to United is off. Then the week after, United to Osimhen is on. And then the week after that, Osimhen to United is off again. So I'm sure by next week we'll be back in for him. But I think at this, considering how this has gone, I actually think that we're not in for him, and I don't think we're gonna end up getting him, because the fact that it keeps going back and forth, I think it's a lot of bullshit now. I think it's too much bullshit. You can't be in for him one week and not in for him the next week and then back in for him the week after. So when it's like that, I'm just going to tend to lean that this is, our name is being used again in some sort of way or whatever. They're trying to get clicks. They're trying to do some hype. I don't think there's any seriousness going on in this. I don't think it's. I think the decision was probably made that we're not going to go for him probably weeks ago, but for whatever reason, it keeps getting regurgitated. So I ain't buying anything about Osimhen anymore. To me, he's off the list. He's off my list. It's not going to happen. I could be wrong, but I just don't feel like there's any seriousness behind it. It's sort of a joke. We're in for him one week, and then all of a sudden next week it's off the table, and then all of a sudden next week, it's not off the table. We're actually in for him. I'm like, well, yeah. We're either in for him or we're not. You know what I mean? We're either in for him or we're not. So we're not jumping back and forth. There's no way. It's not like at United, Wilcox is like, yeah, let's get Osimhen. And then like next week they're like, nah, you know what? Fuck Osimhen. Like we don't get him. Don't get him. And then like a week later, Wilcox is like, no. We should actually go get Osimhen. Like that's not happening. That's not happening. Where was the other update? Oh, the updates were here. Real quick, real quick. Yeah, Samuel Luckhurst again. Just the guy never brings a piece of positive news. He is like just, and then he wonders why people hates him. Like, you want to hear the update from this guy? He said, Samuel Luckhurst said, those who know Al-Marim are struck by how stubborn he is. He never changes. He never changes. A confidant. Oh, now it's a confidant. It's not. It's not a source close to the club or an inside source. Now it's a confidant. We're up in our game here, up in the level. Now we got confidants. A confidant said he will die with his idea. I mean, bro, he made that quite clear in November. Like, why, Samuel? You don't got any transfer updates for us at all. Nothing. You just, Al-Marim, just super surprised by how stubborn he is. I mean, I don't know. You put out the same story, Samuel. You literally, I could probably go find 17 different articles of you putting out literally probably the same words about Erik ten Hag. So, I mean, and then he wonders why people don't like him. Nobody likes a Debbie Downer. Nobody likes a party pooper, man. Like, stop being such a grumpy old man. No, stop being so bitter. Such a bitter guy, man. Such a bitter guy. You make a living, and your life has been off of Manchester United, and every update you do is negative and depressing. Like, why? So one of the updates was Inter Milan are doing everything to sign Manchester United star Rasmus Højlund this summer. I'm sorry, but you can't call him a star. He's most definitely not a star. Yeah. And that's coming from Team Talk. They said that. Samuel Luckhurst again with some positivity here, saying Rashford is expected to have his number 10 revoked and reassigned to Mateus Cunha. I'm sorry, I don't know where he's making these updates, but is he on a lag? I mean, we knew Cunha was taking the 10 weeks ago. Is he on a delay or something? We knew that. We knew the Al-Marim thing. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he should just retire. Maybe he should just retire. He might be getting too old for this. But one of the stories that we needed to talk about was, now this one, I mentioned it right into the intro. I said you got to take it with a little bit. It's right now it's less believable. It could be a very one-off thing because it's coming from Give Me Sport, some guy named Danny Rust, who I don't know, and then obviously Dean Jones Soccer. And they reported that Manchester United have identified João Paulinho as an intriguing low-cost option this summer. He brings valuable Premier League experience and is seen as a seamless fit for Al-Marim's system. Early signs suggest he could be available for around £30 million. United's interest in Paulinho dates back to his Fulham days. Now, it is true that United were interested in Paulinho when he was still at Fulham. Nothing ever materialized, and he went to Bayern Munich, but we were interested in him. He was a name linked with us, and we were sort of kind of looking at it, but we never made any serious move about that. There is the truth to the fact that he could be available around 30 million, considering it hasn't gone well at Bayern Munich. He's not playing a lot. And they sort of seem like they kind of want to get rid of him. He seems a little bit reluctant to do so. From his last statement saying that he wants to stay at the club and, I guess fight for his place or whatever. But he said, we'll see what happens or something like that. And also the part that's true is that he does have valuable Premier League experience. And would be a seamless fit into Al-Marim's system as well. So the only part that you got to take with a grain of salt is is this actually something that we're serious about? Or is this just something that's being mentioned because it might be convenient to put United's name to it because of the other things that they've listed? It's cheap. We were interested back in the day, and also he has Premier League experience, so it's kind of just fits all the boxes. I mean, I don't know. How old is he now? Isn't he up there? Isn't he up there? He's 29 years of age. So he would be one of these more experienced types of signings. I don't know if you would. I don't know if I would love to spend 30 million on him as a 29-year-old, and then I guess it would depend his age. But I think he is still a good defensive midfielder, and he would be one that we could definitely use. I just don't know if it's the best deal we can necessarily do. I don't think it's bad because he does have experience, and I feel like, you know what, we can actually use that experience. But in terms of like looking at the long term, he's 29. He'll probably be 30. Birthday. July 9th, 1995. So actually, this month coming up, he will be 30. So, you know, how many years is he going to give us? You're signing him for 30 million. It ain't no Casemiro. You ain't signing him for 60 plus and give him 350,000 a week. But I mean, he's going to be 30. You know, you sign him to a 5-year deal that takes him to about 35. What do? You use him for 3 years and try and get rid of him to get some sort of money back. You know, I don't know if it's the best sort of deal in terms of like financials and stuff like that. So, I mean, Lyle says Rashford's brother is clueless, just as bad as whoever is advising Sancho. I get with Rashford, he wants to keep his family up there with him. However, as a player on his level, he should be represented proper. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? It's not even just his agent. I mean, who are the other people? Like, it's not even just his brother as the agent. Who are the other people that are, you know, his social media manager or whatever they got going on? The team of people. Because his brother, I agree. I don't think his brother is qualified to be an agent. And his brother is literally only his agent because he's his brother. And he's staying there because he's his brother. And I think Marcus, unfortunately, has put himself in a bad situation. And this is why sometimes they tell you it's not a good idea to do business with family, because how do you fire your brother without causing a problem? I don't think Marcus probably necessarily, one, he would probably feel bad, and he's trying to be, you know, he loves his brother, I would assume, and it would cause a huge problem. How do you fire your brother as agent? How do you go to your brother after all this time and go, listen, you can't be my agent anymore. I got to get somebody else. You can do it. It's very difficult. It's a hard thing to do. And it's not going to be nice. And it's not going to go well. But when this sort of thing happens, you're in a position where you're kind of backed into a corner because you're like, I actually don't want to deal with this. Like, I don't like if I tell him that like he can't be my agent, I know for a fact that this is going to cause a fight. I don't want to fight with my brother. I don't want him to hate me. I don't want problems. And so he's kind of basically like, he could be sitting there and be like, he's not doing a good job, but like, I can't fire him. Like, I made a promise to him or whatever. Like, you know, he'll feel bad for it. So that's why they say don't mix business with family. But I mean, he's in this position now. So, but then there's also the other people that we don't know about. I mean, you know, the team behind him, the people that do his branding or his marketing or whatever the hell it is, social media or whatever. You know, are those also family members? Are they other just people that are just, you know, yes people that, you know, suck up to him, and tell him he's the best, and they never sort of tell him the truth. They just lie to him and tell him what he wants to hear to keep him happy so that they could stay in the circle and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Nubis says Rashford is going down Ravel Morrison's route. He is wasting away his career, unfortunately. Unfortunately. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Lawrence Burry says Rashford has 2 years on his contract. Still time to reform. Still time to reform. I mean, yes, but he needs to like wake up and move, you know? Like, again, I don't understand this whole waiting for Barcelona thing. I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Tio's here, says, hello guys, when the players come back to work. Probably soon, considering that we're about to enter July soon, right? So I assume, you know, these guys are They're still on. A lot of them are on vacation. The other ones are, I mean, not our players, but the other players are playing in the Club World Cup. And our preseason starts the 19th. So I would assume in the next, what is it, the 19th? Probably like 2 weeks or so, maybe 2 weeks, maybe three. They should be back in working and stuff like that. And Lyle says Miami has won against Porto 2-1. Go Becks, go Becks, go Becks. Let's go, Sir David Beckham. Sir David Beckham. Paulinho played for Almerino and Sporting. He did. That's why he would integrate into the system perfectly. So, makes sense. It does make sense. Apparently, Marcus Rashford. Let me see this. They usually write bullshit in this article, but I mean, I'll read it. So apparently, Jeremy Cross has reported that Rashford is trying to get out of Manchester United's preseason tour of the United States. The 27-year-old is reportedly desperate to avoid the trip to America next month, preferring instead to remain in the UK and secure a move from Old Trafford. The request isn't expected to cause an issue for Amorim, who has no intention of using the United want away, especially with Mateus Cunha now in his squad. Newcastle United have recently been linked with a move for Rashford, apparently. However, his hefty wage of £325,000 per week have ruled the Magpies out of pursuing the United veteran. However, his dream move of joining Barcelona is still in the cards after his agent was seen meeting with sporting director Deco over recent months. I would say no, it's fucking not. But anyway, this is why shit people write shit articles. Deco and Hansi Flick are reportedly big fans of Rashford. However, nothing concrete has come to play as of yet. Again, I would say, if Deco and Hansi Flick are such big fans of Rashford, why are they doing deals for Williams and Rooney Bargdaghi? Why, if they're such big fans, why wouldn't they be doing a deal right now for Rashford? Why is there nothing concrete? As such, Rashford is still looking for his next club, something that United are equally as invested in sorting out to free up a much-needed wage capacity and transfer funds. Well, I would say this. I say, there is no reason for him to come on preseason. He shouldn't be coming on preseason because it just makes no sense. Why are you going to have a player that's going to have zero interest and have zero use? I mean, he's not staying. We don't want him. Ruben doesn't want him. Ruben dropped him and Ruben loaned him out. So why would Marcus Rashford... There's zero reason for Marcus Rashford to be coming on a preseason tour. In fact, I actually agree with Marcus Rashford on this one, and I would probably do the same thing. There's no reason for him to go to America for the preseason. Stay wherever you are. Do your own individual thing, but also don't wait till fucking August to make a move. Like, get on with it, and don't sit there and wait for Barcelona until August the 31st, because that's what it seems like is going to happen. But I agree. I mean, he should be doing individual training, and he should be trying to get a transfer as fast as possible. So what he can do is go with the team that he's actually going to go play for permanently in the future. He can go with them and go on preseason with them and integrate with them. There's no reason for him to be coming with us. I don't like that aspect, and I don't like that dynamic. His head's not going to be in it. There's no reason to have a player around the rest of the team that can potentially be a problem, a virus, a cancer in that aspect. Like, I don't think he'll have the proper attitude. I don't think he'll have the proper mentality because there's no future for him anymore. So why would you want a player like that to be brought around your squad when you're preparing for a new season and it's pivotal? If I was the manager, I'd be like, you don't even have to ask. You're not coming. Like, there is zero chance of you coming. You go do whatever you want. You're not joining us. And if I was the player, I would be like, there's literally no point, and I don't even want to really be involved. I don't want to go there. I don't want to see that. I don't want to go with the manager. This guy doesn't want me here and has kicked me out of the club, essentially. You know, what am I going to go do there? What am I here for? It would be weird and uncomfortable for that fact, but also, like, it's kind of just a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. It's pointless. It's not like, you know, he's going to go there in preseason. It's not like Ruben's going to use him anyway. So, you know, what's he going to be doing in America? Just, you know, running around going to Madison Square Garden or some shit. You know, it's pointless. It's pointless. This is why I didn't even really want to read this, because, I mean, that article is really like a nothing article. You know, and these people, they post these articles. I mean, I'm going to message this guy. It's a it's a United aggregator that actually does a good job with the news, but they have their own website, and then they write articles for their own website, and they always put like a shit like clickbait thing, and then you click on the article and you read it, and it's like one of the worst written articles ever. So I'm gonna DM them. I'm gonna be like, bro, I get the grind, I respect it, but like, please get somebody to write better. Please get somebody to write better articles, because I mean, they're dog shit. They're trash. Lions is here, says hello, how you doing? Dude, I'm sweating. I mean, I'm in a place here where there's no AC in this area of my house, and it's quite hot, and I am dying because I have the lights on up here and over there, and then I also have 2 lights here. So like, I am absolutely just sweating right now. It's too hot. It's too hot. It's way too hot. Lyle says, well, judging by a report the other day, Amorim apparently has told the board that he does not want Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, and Garnacho on the tour, rather leave them behind to find new clubs. As he should. I agree. I mean, if you don't want those players, and those players are not part of your plans, there's literally no reason for them to be coming. Like, let's put it this way. Didn't PSG, because I know somebody has an argument out there for sure, as like, no, but like, we should probably take them because, I mean, if they're not like keeping up with their fitness, and we should be putting them in like, you know, giving them some minutes so that maybe we'll get some trend. No. When we bought Manuel Ugarte, what did PSG do to Ugarte? PSG did not take Ugarte on their preseason. And what did we do? We still bought them. Now, I know we're stupid and we do bad deals, but they didn't take him and they sold him. And they still sold him. We should be doing the same. You know, if the players are determined that they're not staying at this football club and they have no use, why are you bringing players that are fully aware that their future at this club is coming to an end, that the managers decided to get rid of them? It's not a smart thing. You're bringing people that have the potential ability to distract the rest of your squad and your players, because some of them, like, there's people that they're still friends with Rashford, they're friends with Garnacho, they're friends with Sancho or Anthony, and they're not going to play. There's no reason for them to play. There's no future in them, so they shouldn't be playing. And if they're going to be around the squad, they can get in somebody's ear and disrupt and be like, you know, there might be a player that maybe doesn't feel the strongest affection towards Ruben, and maybe one of these other guys is in his ear chatting shit and be like, yo, this guy is such an asshole, like he's literally such a shit manager, blah blah blah, and just like slowly turning him against him and making that player who hasn't fully bought in buy in less. Well, technically buy out. So I agree. I think it's a smart move by Ruben, and I think that's what I like about Ruben. He doesn't really mess about. Once he's made a decision, and he's very strict on that sort of stuff, he should, like, I agree. Like, there is no reason for these players to be there, involved, or anything like that. They shouldn't be around the team. They shouldn't be around the other players. It's just a waste of space, and it's a waste of time. We should be looking to move them on. 100%. Line says, oh my gosh, it's so warm, right? Dude, I am dying. Shout out to all the new people that subscribe. We're just seeing the ticker has gone up to 3,060. We are trying to get to 3,500. We will get there for sure. And we're actually making good progress. So shout out to all the new people that have subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss the live. You know, you get notified when we go live and you don't miss any part of the show. And shout out to all the people that smashed the like button. If you didn't smash the like button, please make sure you do it because it is important to the channel. And I don't know how many likes we necessarily have, but I think it's a good amount because last time I saw, it was a good amount. We have 24 likes. So shout out to all the people smashing the like button. It is a big, big, big help to the channel. So, yeah. Let me double check the internet. I see nothing. How much Emiliano Martínez earns at Aston Villa? Well, I guess we could click on that. Look at this. 15 minutes ago, Fabrizio Romano. Bayern have discussed again Rafael Leao internally as a winger option this week. No proposal and negotiations advancing yet. Bayern will wait for Nico Williams to see if the deal gets done with Barcelona. And then we'll reassess options, including Leao, Barcola, and more. Damn shame. Damn shame. Apparently, there's interest in United looking to sign Mohamed Kudus. Chad somewhere is probably throwing a festival. If it's true, and if it happens, Chad's definitely throwing a party somewhere. Because, I mean, he just has been talking about Mohamed Kudus for, like, every chance that he gets. And I like Kudus. I think Kudus is a good player. And I would like to get him. Now, I don't know how concrete that is. West Ham source, somebody called ex-West Ham United employee says that West Ham are trying to sell Mohamed Kudus. So, yeah. Arsenal people are putting out that apparently Arsenal are among a host of clubs interested in signing West Ham's Mohamed Kudus this summer, with the hammers open to a sale, according to ex-West Ham United employee. A deal for around £50 million would reportedly be enough to secure his signature. But I don't think... I mean, he can play attacking mid, can he not? As well as winger. I know he can play winger. I mean, he has 5 goals, 3 assists for West Ham in 32 matches. So it's not like he's gone crazy. But he does have the technical ability, of course. And he does have the speed. But I mean, he plays mostly right winger, can play left winger, and also can play attacking midfielder, but he's majority played on the wing. So, but, you know, to be fair, he probably actually does slot in to Amorim's system because the 10s, as of the way we were playing, they do tend to go wide. Or at least one of them does tend to go wide and stay sort of outside on the line. Which, I mean, if you have a player like Kudus, who actually can play attacking midfielder, who actually plays as a sole 10, but then also plays as a winger, well, then he's pretty much perfect for that because he knows how to play both positions. And he can literally play that sort of a form of a 10, where it's like centrally when you need to be, but then winger when you need to be. Kind of works out. Oh, Chad's here. See, Chad is here. I knew I'd get him out. I knew I'd draw him out with that statement. I knew he was here watching. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he would actually fit right in. I don't know. Listen, I don't think that at this current moment in time, I don't take it too seriously. I'm going to be quite honest. Oh, look, I found my... Look, you know what's funny? So I typed in Mohamed Kudus into X, right? Because I was trying to get, like, the latest whoever posted about him, because I just saw one thing about it, really. So I was trying to see if there was any other people saying it. So when I typed in Mohamed Kudus, I went down maybe like 10 posts, and my own post from March 1st, 2023 came up. You want to read what I wrote? This is what I wrote. I was trying to do a little bit of aggregating, right, at the time. So this was from Footy Insider 247. And this was what I wrote. I aggregated. The story was March 1st, 2023. Reports suggest that Manchester United has reached out to Mohamed Kudus regarding a possible move to the club in the summer. The Ajax star is reportedly eager to reunite with United boss Erik ten Hag and is said to be a top target for the club in the upcoming transfer window. Stay tuned for more updates as the story develops. And that was March 1st, 2023. I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. We could have just fucking had him. We could have had him. We could have had him 2 years ago. And supposedly, according to the news, that he was a top target for the club. He ended up at West Ham, and we ended up with Anthony. So I don't know. You somebody explain that one to me, because I don't really know. And actually, one of the people that followed me was like, "Why?" They didn't really like that. They didn't like that update, and I responded back to them by saying, "I mean, why not? Could be the replacement for Donny. Could be a replacement for McTominay if one of them are sold. And we could also use him on the wing. He's young. He has good potential. He's versatile to play in a numerous amounts of positions, which is something Ten Hag loves, is versatility. So yeah. And at the time, I mean, he had 14 appearances as an attacking midfielder center. He had 12 appearances as a center forward. He had 10 appearances as a midfielder, center midfielder. He had 6 appearances as a right forward. He had 4 appearances as a defensive midfielder, center defensive midfielder. He had 2 appearances at attacking midfielder right, and he had 2 appearances attacking midfielder left. So, and that was at Ajax. He was literally he played everything. He literally played everything besides defense. Like left back, center back, right back, and goalkeeper. So I don't know. I mean, the stories I see here, they're not. It's nothing like too concrete. There's not a lot of detail. I mean, Jakob Steinberg, basically almost yesterday, said Kudus is a target for Manchester United, and that's literally it. Our name could just be being used again because, if West Ham are actually looking to sell Kudus and they need to sell Kudus and they want the money, I mean, there's no better way to get more attention and more word out there and drum up some more interest than attaching Manchester United's name to one of your players, because it's going to get put all over the place. So, could very well be, but I mean, we'll just keep an eye on it and see if anything actually develops, and if there's more things to come over the next, days, weeks, or whatever it may be about that. Here he is. Yep. It's all right, Lions. I know you. I saw you said that you just got home. It's a long day. Um, we're not sticking around anyway for much longer. So, it's all right if you don't make it to the end of the stream, buddy. Tough days, tough days, long work hours. I get it. Temesgin comes back in with an updated list. Says United want Osimhen, Mbuemo, Emiliano Martínez, Ederson, Hackney, Hayden Hackney, Luis, Malik Fofana, Roger Fernandez. To United is better for next season, please. You gotta change Osimhen, because apparently we had the story about Osimhen, and yeah, apparently the deal is off for Osimhen. That's they straight up just said deal is off for Osimhen. It's not happening, because of the wages. So that's done. Chad said I actually just checked in and you mentioned my name. See, we're like on the same wavelength. Yeah. Wavelength. Yeah. I don't know why that confused me. Chad said I told you, well, we have Bruno in the cam, so why would he come? Well, again, I still think the fact that he can play, the fact that he plays winger, but can also play cam, I think actually he still fits, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if Bruno's still there. I would argue more of the fact that, I mean, we're signing Cunha and Mbuemo, so why would we get Kudus unless something happens in terms of, like, we have Cunha and we don't get Mbuemo, and then we go and get Kudus. That would make sense. For me, I don't think it really has anything to do with Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes was always part of the plan, and we're still signing technically 2 10s with Bruno being there. So I don't think we'll sign technically 3, because that's what he would be. There's no other real position for him to actually necessarily play in the formation that we play. Unless they decide that they're going to, try and play him in the center mid position. But I think while he might be able to do that, I think he's obviously best fitted to be playing attacking mid. So, I would more question it of why would we get him, or why would he come if we've already signed Cunha and we're getting Mbuemo? Why would we be getting Kudus as well? That's why I don't really buy it. I still like him. I think he's a good player, but I don't really buy it. I think our name is probably being used at this current moment in time. Unless Mbuemo deal like collapses, and then I could see something like maybe we move for him instead, because he would be the second 10, and we can use that sort of player. Keeping the stream going on in the back. Good night, everyone. Good night, Lions. We'll see you later. So yeah, I don't really see, I don't really see how that would work if we already have Cunha and we're signing Mbuemo. It doesn't make sense. So I think our name is probably being used once again, which is gonna happen a lot. Which is why it's annoying, and we have to, sift through the BS. One of these articles, though, apparently, because United have opened talks with representatives of Aston Villa goalkeeper Emiliano Martínez ahead of a potential move. And they've written a thing about, I guess, how much he gets paid or something, which is, I want to know what it is. So, how much Martínez earns at Villa. Here we go. Martínez's reputation in recent years also earned him a bumper 5-year contract at Villa Park back in August 2024, which leaves him with 5 years remaining on his current deal. That's actually quite crazy. So they really are in a bad place with PSR, if that's the fact. Villa still aren't in the best bargaining position due to their PSR position, but it does mean that the goalkeeper has relatively attractive wages. According to Capology, the Argentine goalkeeper earns £150,000 per week, which is the joint highest with Unai Emery's squad at £7.8 million each year. You can only imagine that he'd want to increase on the amount if he arrived at Old Trafford, but those at United would probably not be able to offer him much more than he's already on. That's facts, and I wouldn't want that to happen either. I mean, listen, $150,000 per week, you're a goalkeeper. I don't think we could give you like over 200,000. The best we could probably do is give you 180,000 per week. I mean, I don't know what the fuck Onana's on. You know what I mean? I don't know what Onana's on. What is Onana's wages? Onana currently earns £120,000 a week at Manchester United. So, I mean, that's not something favorable either, because obviously these guys are trying to take good care of the money. I don't think they're going to be highly interested in the fact that they would have to pay 30 to 40 million pounds for Martinez, and then also pay about 60,000 to maybe 80,000. No, I'm sorry. I did the math wrong. 30 wait. Yeah, 60,000, about 80,000 more in wages for the goalkeeper than the one they already have. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like we're interested, but I mean, unless he's willing to kind of not be so stubborn about his wages, then I don't know if that's going to be one that's really going to work out. Um, so I guess we'll just gotta wait and see what happens. Um, so to all the people out there, if you guys have any questions or you want to talk about anything that um if you have any input about anything or you want to make a comment or something or you want to ask me something, now is the time to do it. And while you're thinking of something or typing something, I'm gonna do my bit where I got to tell you guys kind of what's the plan, what's going on, and what's happening and stuff like that. So, tomorrow, there is, as of right now, there's probably, I think, like an 80% chance we're not going to be able to do the Freestyle Friday show because I think I'm working like very, very late. So, we have something wrong at work. We're supposed to get a delivery of materials. We do them Saturday. Apparently, Saturday is a no-go because they're doing something with the building. So we won't be able to do the delivery on Saturday. So instead of working Saturday, we got to do the delivery on Friday. The delivery on Friday can't come until about 6 p.m., which you guys will be asleep. By the time I do the delivery and get home, all of you will be asleep. Let's put it that way. Maybe Eli will be awake because he's always, he's up doing his thing. But most people will probably be already asleep. It'd be far, far too late. Now, the only thing is that I don't know if I'm 100% confirmed that I'm going to be a part of that because a few people were told about it. I wasn't told directly from the boss, so I got to go ask him tomorrow. I have a feeling like I am going to be there. So most likely more than not, there won't be a Freestyle Friday show. And we'll probably have to do one either Saturday or Sunday. So I'll keep you guys updated with that, depending on how sort of the news goes and the updates that we get about that. But the other thing that I need to talk to you and tell you guys about is obviously some of you have known and do know that I'm going away. Going back to Malta, going on vacation again. And my last day here and my last day, well, not my last day, I guess in the settings, but my last day in New York is Monday. So Monday night, I'm leaving. I'm getting on a plane and I'm flying. So, and I get there Tuesday. So basically Monday, we got nothing going on because it's just not going to happen. I'm Monday. I'm still going to work. I'm going to get home from work. I got to take a shower and basically get all my shit and go to the airport. So unfortunately, I don't have time to do sort of a last day stream before I go to the airport. So that's not going to happen. So Monday is out the door. Then I'm not going to get there till Tuesday, and I'll be on your time or closer to your guys' time because they're 6 hours ahead from me. So I'm getting there Tuesday at about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, their time, which is they're 1 hour ahead of the UK. So basically it'll be 1 p.m. UK time is when I'm going to arrive. By the time I get out, do all my things, I'm going to go out and stuff. Tuesday, there won't be a stream. Tuesday is not happening either. So there might be a couple days where it gets situated and sorted and get things up and running. I do have a plan to try and stream a little bit more successfully than the last time. Hopefully no more fridge streams. So I'm going to try my best. And I'll keep you guys posted, and it's easier because I can tell you in the Discord, and I can keep you up to date time from time. And also, I'll be doing some things where, I'll be putting some sort of photos or updates for the VIP members Anybody that's a VIP member, I'm going to put some stuff up in the community tabs, and then also I'll be sharing some stuff in the Discord as well on my trip. But yeah, we're gonna have to see. Listen, there's only so much I can do with the situation that I have, so I'm gonna try something. I don't know how good it's going to work. I will continue to try and get something that we can actually do some sort of a live stream. I have a plan of how to do it right now. I think my best bet is to do the stream from my phone, and I'll have a tablet with me that I can pull up the news so that I can, do the news and chat with you guys. And hopefully the connection is good enough, and hopefully the phone doesn't overheat to explode. If it doesn't work out, I will try and search out for alternative options, and I'll let you guys know. Like, I'll keep you updated about it and try and get something that actually sustains itself. Worst comes to worst, what will happen is we might not necessarily, maybe we won't able to go live everywhere. Maybe I'll have to go live somewhere in more public. It won't be, maybe it'll be loud, or whatever. I mean, I could try it in a couple different places, see if it works. It'll be a different type of stream because I won't be able to necessarily do this sort of formatted thing where I get the news and I tell you guys and we talk about it and we go like update to update. So it might have to be like a different sort of format. But yeah, worst comes to worst, like the utmost worst possible worst case scenario would be, I'll just end up doing pre-records. I won't make them long. They'll be like about one player or one segment, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes long, and I'll upload them to YouTube. And then you guys can, comment on the videos, keep them going, keep the channel like moving, keeping it alive, hitting the like button, putting in the comments, because that keeps the momentum going. And we'll carry on like that until I get back, pretty much. So it's a little bit of an unknown, because I don't know how things are gonna go. So I wish I could just tell you, listen, it's gonna be like this, and we're good. I'm kind of trying to think for, all cases, scenario possibilities of what may work or what might not work and what happens. So I'm going to try my best. But my promise, at the very least, that I'm going to make is I'm not going to do what happened last year where I kind of just disappeared and kind of just gave up because it wasn't ideal to do necessarily the streams. I'm not going to do that this year. We've made too much good progress, and also it just wasn't, I sort of missed doing the shows as well. And it just wasn't like, I just didn't really like the fact that I wasn't really doing the shows anymore. So that is the one thing that I can promise you, is that one way or another, there will be some sort of form of content coming. Whether it's live or pre-records or whatever, I will do whatever I can. If anybody has any suggestions for so basically my situation is that, like, I'm going to be staying in a house that I don't necessarily have the greatest internet connection. Like, so it's Wi-Fi, but it's not even direct Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is getting hooked up from the Wi-Fi next door, and it's through like a wireless extender range. I was thinking of trying to look into getting sort of like a hotspot Wi-Fi box, but I don't know which ones are good. I don't know which ones work the best. I don't even know if it would work necessarily well for the streaming. Like, would it actually be worth it? Would it be good enough? And would it work well? Or is it just going to be a waste of money and a waste of time? So if anybody knows anything about that, if anybody ever like travels for business or has some sort of idea, I mean, you can message me somehow, one way or another, or you can let me know during the live. So yeah, because that would be good, because I mean, I was looking at hotspot boxes. There's some that are expensive, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that money, because I don't even know if it's going to work necessarily. and I'm talking about like they're like 300 $400. I'm like, I wouldn't be necessarily against spending that if I know it's guaranteed that it's going to be like good. But what I don't want to do is spend that money, get there, try it the first day, and be like, this is shit and it doesn't work. And I just wasted $300 $400 for something that I can't even use. So if anybody has any sort of experience with that sort of stuff or knows anything about it, yeah, I'd appreciate any info about it. So yeah, I mean, there's cheaper ones, but I was trying to get one that, you know, gives you 5G or whatever, like fast internet, because I assume like to stream and to keep a good connection, it does take a lot of, you know, megabytes per second and stuff like that. And also, we're going to be doing it, you know, it's not going to be through a wire, it's going to be through a Wi-Fi signal. And over there, the houses are made out of limestone. So, like, internet can get blocked up. The signal might not be able to go through the walls that great, and it, you know, so it could be a bit dodgy. You know what I mean? So, um, but I mean, if it like, listen, it is a bit pricey, but like, if they told me for $300 you're guaranteed and you can use this for the whole time you're gone and you'll have like no problems and it'll be smooth, to me it'd be worth it because we can keep the content going, we could keep the discussion going, we could keep the channel going without having to necessarily fall off. For me it would be worth it, but yeah, it's a bit of a, I mean, I'm gonna do a little bit more research. Maybe I grab something before I get out of here. Maybe I'll find a good deal. But so basically with all of that, you know, I'm thinking probably what we should do is, at the very least, Sunday will be sort of the last stream, I guess, for the temporary time. And we'll see if we do one Saturday. Maybe we do one, maybe we don't. You know, there's a possibility we do Saturday and Sunday. But I think for sure, definitely do Sunday because it's the last day, and then Monday I won't be able to do it. So it'll be like the last one closest to the update and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, that's just, I just needed to keep you guys updated. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. And we'll see. Now, I will just add, if I happen to not be working late tomorrow, which I do actually think I am, but I'm gonna confirm tomorrow when I see my boss. I'm gonna ask him, you know, what's going on, if I'm staying or not, because he told a couple of the guys. One of the guys said that he said not everybody's gonna be there. I kind of feel like he would bring me like he would ask me to be there. I was like, maybe he just kind of forgot, or maybe I'm one of the people that's not going to be there. So I have to find out for sure tomorrow. When I find out for sure, I'm going to let you guys know in the Discord, 100%. And then I'll actually, those of you that aren't in the Discord, I mean, you should get in the Discord so that it's easier to be all on the same page. But I will do the favor of extending it to the community tab, so that way those of you that aren't in the Discord can be informed through YouTube. So yeah, I'll let you guys know tomorrow as early as possible. Um, but yeah, I think that's offer agreed. And where are we seeing that? All good, bro. Says a lot. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, I know that was a lot, but I was like, I kind of, I was like, I have to get it all out so that everybody kind of knows what's going on. Um, Running out of time. Now, I just seen something. I'm trying to search what's going on here. I just seen something that like people are claiming that the Emmy Martinez thing is a fee is agreed or something like that. But I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see where that is. So I don't really maybe it's just like sort of a clickbait title that I seen for the stream because it was their stream. So but yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, so thank you everybody for getting involved. Shout out to all the VIP members. You guys are the goats. Shout out to all the regular members. You guys are also great and also supporting the channel and coming in with some really good comments and keeping the discussion going. As always, and that's what we built this channel for. And it's growing little by little, but it is getting better and better, and we're getting more people that are actually they're slotting in perfectly, and coming up with some good points and opening up the discussion a lot more, and giving us different thoughts and ideas. So that's very, very good. Shout out to all the new subscribers because you're helping us get to the new goal, and welcome to the family. And thank you to everybody that smashed the like button because you are helping the channel in a massive way as well, not just by watching and not just by getting involved in the chat, but liking and smashing the like button. That helps the channel massively. And if you want, get in the comments after I end the show. Leave some comments down there. YouTube rates that very highly as well. So if you want to support even further and go above and beyond, you can get in there, leave a couple comments. Could be anything. Could be something generic or basic, like just great show or whatever. Or if you want to leave a full thought out there, you can do that as well. I respond to them if they're like, they're well thought out and it's like opinionated about United or something like that. I'll give full responses to them as well. But yeah, other than that, everybody have a good night. Shout out to all of you for always supporting and staying here. We do long shows and you guys are always here and always involved. So I do appreciate that. As always, thank you guys very much. We'll talk in the Discord a little bit more, and if anything else, worst comes to worst, we'll see each other Sunday. We might see each other a little bit before that. I'll keep you guys posted. But other than that, everybody take care. Have a good night. Stay safe, and hopefully United give us something to celebrate quite soon. So, yeah, have a good night, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of you.